Hello, my name is Dante Renee, and welcome to the 10 Room Bizarro YouTube page where I talk about films that I believe need to be talked about more. Like tonight's film, 1971's A Lizard in a Woman's Skin. A Lizard in a Woman's Skin, put out by Mondo Macabre, directed by Lucio Fulci. And here's the back of the Blu-ray. Mondo Macabre put this out. A Lizard in Woman's Skin. Wow, wow, wow. Here we go, folks. If you know Lucio Fulci, you probably know him best for his straight horror films. City of the Living Dead, House by the Cemetery, The Beyond, Zombie. But this is one of his giallos, and I'm going to talk about how this giallo really needs to be talked about more. A Lizard in a Woman's Skin. 1971, Lucio Fulci. This is the Blu-ray by Mondo Macabre. Got this off of Amazon for not a bad price at all, and you can get it directly from their website, Mondo Macabre, bigcartel.com as well. Let's get into this movie here. A Lizard in a Woman's Skin. The title itself should, kind of invoke some sort of feelings and what am I getting myself into here? But it definitely has a giallo title. It definitely sounds like a giallo film. If the giallo genre for Italian cinema is quite violent, quite sexual, quite lurid, quite provocative, and definitely quite stylish. And this is a film that definitely has all of that. I have some notes written up on the wall here, so you might see my eyes divert at times. This is a giallo film of psychedelic, sexual, nightmarish proportions with intense violence and gore. So, let's get into this film. First and foremost, this film by Lucio Fulci, he has music by the infamous Ennio Morricone, I believe that's how you pronounce his name. You can get his soundtrack on this film. You can get his soundtracks on many films. He did scores for Argento films, like The Stendhal Syndrome, and Four Flies in Grey Velvet, and he even did the most recent Tarantino film, The Hateful Eight. He did John Carpenter's The Thing. I mean, Ennio Morricone has tons and tons of music, one of the best score composers of all time. The score in this particular film is unbelievable. It is dark. It is emotionally stimulating. It is sultry and thumping, and intense meets creepy, dark, disturbing. Okay? Intense meets creepy, dark, disturbing. It is the atmosphere of the film. To hear it with a slow motion scene is utter magic. To hear the music in here with slow motion enveloping on the screen is magical. It populates the entire film, and the music really is an actor in this film. It is you hear the music throughout the entire film, and it's something that's pulsating and thumping like a heartbeat, like a rhythm, and a sultry sexual rhythm of the film. This is definitely the most stylized Lucio Fulci film I've ever seen, and possibly one of the most stylized giallos I've ever seen. I say that with the utmost honesty. This film right here is style. I mean, I have never experienced a stylized giallo like this, I don't believe, or a Fulci film like this. There are reflections on the most minute areas in the film, kind of mirrored-like reflections on the smallest little areas. You keep your eyes open and peeled. There are split screens. It's psychedelic. It's slow motion, as I mentioned before. All of a sudden, the camera becomes shaky with no cuts at all in this very interesting dinner table sequence. Amazing shot of the daughter in the film from the bed to her father, kind of getting her legs and her feet. A very sexual scene, a very quick scene, a very amazing scene in the way that it was chosen to be shot. The colors in this film are vibrant and wonderful. The angles in this film are crazy and everywhere. A pacing and an energy and a vibe to everything being shot. That's no joke. There's a flow. It's oppressive, it's weird, It's wild, it's elegantly powerful. It was as if every scene was stylized in a lizard and woman's skin. I'm not joking. The beginning of the film will absolutely wow you into this world immediately. As soon as you push play on this film, you will be wowed immediately, and it'll make you realize you are in for a fever dream of a giallo film. Okay, a true fever dream. There's a scene of knife splatter paint art from the hippie warehouse artist in the film. Really symbolizes maybe the art and most of Lucio Fulci's career and the way that cinematic art is portrayed in his films, but definitely in this film as well. The atmosphere in this film is cold. It's literally cold too. It looks like they're bundled up in this film, which is always interesting because I think there's a perception that when you watch any types of films that have a sexual bent to them or an erotic bent to them, you immediately think warmth, tropical, like a tropical Jess Franco film. But when a film becomes cold and when they're wearing, big heavy winter coats and the sun isn't out, it's cloudy, it brings an entirely different type of atmosphere. Lush, grandiose mansion in this film with 70s art rooms, 70s furniture, unbelievable red bed, amazing outfits for the women in this film, pure 70s gold, sensual and affluent. You know what I'm talking about. This is the goriest giallo I've ever seen, and it only happens a few times in the film. I mean, no joke here. But those few times are powerful, disturbing, effective, over the top, and gross and effective. Again, I will say effective. They are sucker punches, so get ready. They will floor you. Pretty wild stuff, pretty over the top stuff, and really seeing where Fulci would take his horror films. Okay. There are lesbian scenes in this film. There's full nudity, but it's all implied. There's nothing sexually explicit per se in this film, but there's tons of sensuality in this film, predominantly from the daughter, who's never naked in the film. I mentioned her with a shot previously in this video. There's tons of sensuality from her, but without nudity. It's almost, to me, she was the most sensual character in the film, and she's been in other films, very sexually attractive, and it's very erotic, even in her presence. And there's tons of sensuality also from this one hippie girl as well in the film, who kind of plays a side character, but an important character at that. This is a very, very dense giallo with tons of twists and turns, and sometimes so fast that you could possibly miss things. I'm not joking. By the end, you are so bewildered. And there are so many layers to the storyline that you will be both confused, shocked, amazed, and, quote, when can I see this again so I can figure more out? Maybe one of the most complex giallo storylines I've ever seen. Drugs, dreams, repressed sexual desires, family ties, fear, lies, and even the theme that is not explored enough in films, but homicidal somnambulism. Homicidal somnambulism. Look it up. You might be able to glean what that means from the somnambulism. The brain, the subconscious, the emotions. This is a lizard in a woman's skin. So, in summary here, you could almost hear me saying this is the goriest, possibly the goriest giallo I've ever seen, the most stylized giallo I've ever seen, and the most dense and complex twisting and turning and storyline of a giallo film. Really, really, this film pushes you and punches you with complexity and abrasive gore and sensuality. All involved in this fever dream of a giallo story that really starts like a psychedelic fever dream and then morphs into a giallo feel but with tons of twists and turns, especially as you know in the giallo genre in the last like 10 minutes of the film where things are explained and things and you are just dumbfounded, absolutely dumbfounded. I did not get everything, I know that, but one of the things that I always tell people is that I do not watch films from a logical standpoint. First and foremost, I watch films from an emotional standpoint where I let the sound and the vision speak to me even more than the word storyline, if you catch my drift. This is A Lizard in a Woman's Skin right here by Lucio Fulci, 1971. That movie needs to be talked about more. Lucio Fulci is predominantly known for his horror films, and this film needs to be talked about more. Thank you so much for watching the Temporary Bizarre YouTube page, and please feel free to check out all my other reviews in this page. Tons of Jess Franco, teen sex comedy, sexploitation, exploitation, erotica, underground, bizarre, horror. It's all here. Thank you so much, folks, and good night.